So, what happens when a tech billionaire decides to use a multi-million-dollar jewel heist to pick a fight with a major world power? Well, today we're unpacking the very strange story of Telegram's founder, the stolen French crown jewels, and a public offer that was, let's just say, anything but generous.
All right, let's just dive right in. This whole thing kicked off with a public offer that I don't think anyone saw coming.
So this is Pavel Durov. He's the founder of the messaging app Telegram. And what's so weird is that this story doesn't really start with the thieves. Nope, it starts with him and a pretty shocking announcement he made right after the heist went down. And here it is. This was his wild offer. Durov announced to the world that he was ready to buy the stolen jewels. But, and this is a huge but, not to give them back to Paris. His condition? He'd donate them to the Louvre, Abu Dhabi, claiming it was far more secure than the original. I mean, is that a generous act, or is that a massive, calculated insult? Okay, so you have to be asking, why on earth would a tech CEO get involved in an art heist? Well, to get his motives, we need to go back and look at the crime that kicked this whole thing off, an unbelievable theft right in the heart of Paris. So, the date was October 19th. The location, the legendary Apollo Gallery in the Louvre. And the target? The French crown jewels. You know, this wasn't just some robbery. It was a direct hit on a national symbol. In the end, the thieves made off with 9 priceless pieces. Just think about that. 9 irreplaceable artifacts from French history just gone. And look, we're not talking about just any old jewelry here. These were symbols of power. They were worn by historic figures like Napoleon III and Empress Eugenie. Stealing them isn't just theft. It's like trying to erase a piece of the French Empire's legacy. But here's the thing. Durov's offer? It wasn't really about the art. It was about politics. He basically used the theft as the perfect excuse to launch a pretty scathing critique of France. He made it really clear that from his point of view, this theft wasn't some shocking one-off event. In fact, he said he wasn't surprised at all. He framed it as a symptom of a much bigger problem in the country. He called the heist a sign of the decline of a once great country. He then accused the government of creating imaginary threats instead of fixing real problems. It's like, in his story, that empty display case at the Louvre was all the proof he needed to make his point. Now, this kind of public attack didn't just come out of nowhere. To really get what's going on here, you have to understand the history between Pavel Durov and European governments, especially France. There's some bad blood there. See, Durov has built his entire brand on being this fierce defender of digital privacy. And that has put him on a collision course with several governments in the European Union that want more power to conduct surveillance. And the real heart of their disagreement is this. Durov claims that France was on the verge of passing a law to force apps, like his own Telegram, to scan everyone's private messages. He says the only reason it didn't happen was because Germany stepped in at the last minute. So that really changes things, right? His public statements aren't just a critique anymore, they're a move in an ongoing war over our digital privacy. So when you connect all the dots, you've got the heist, the really strange offer, and this ongoing political battle, the story becomes so much bigger than just a simple robbery. Which leaves us with a pretty important question for the world we live in now. Was this just a billionaire's act of philanthropy? Or are we seeing the new face of political warfare, where tech CEOs can use their incredible wealth and global platforms to take on actual countries? And, where does that leave the rest of us?